When the dollar to naira exchange rate rises, why do prices of goods increase quickly while they don't necessarily decrease when the dollar falls? Can the government effectively regulate prices? What does the Price Control Act entail? And should it be enforced now, given the country's high inflation rate? Let's break this down. To set the stage, let's understand what price controls are. They refer to when the government steps in to set prices for goods or services. There are two main types: maximum prices or price ceilings, and minimum prices or price floors. Imagine the government sets a maximum price of 50 naira per litre for petrol. Initially, it seems beneficial as it means cheaper fuel. However, this can lead to problems. If petrol prices are too low, fuel stations might find it unprofitable to sell. They might even decide to reduce how much they sell or stop selling it altogether, and this will lead to shortages. And then there are price floors. Say the government sets a minimum price for 10,000 naira for a bag of maize. This means that no one can sell maize for less than that price. In theory, this is great for farmers because they can make more money selling their maize. But there's a downside to price floors. If the price is set too high, people might stop buying the maize or reduce how much they buy, which means fewer customers for farmers. In general, most economists think that price controls are counterproductive. They can lead to shortages, reduce choices for consumers, and even hurt the very people they are meant to help, like farmers. When the government intervenes to set prices below or above market levels, they disrupt the balance between supply and demand. Price controls were introduced in Nigeria in the 1970s by the military regime of General Olusegun Obasanjo. In 2004, the Obasanjo administration reinstated the Price Control Act and established the Price Control Board. Over time, as the economy grew and became more open, price control became less relevant, but the conversation has resurfaced. On February 7, 2024, the Federal High Court in Lagos granted an order to the Nigerian government directing it to regulate the price of various goods and products within 7 days. This order came as a result of a lawsuit filed by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, against the Price Control Board and the Attorney General of the Federation. In response to high inflation rates, the Nigerian government was ordered to set price controls on items including milk, flour, salt, sugar, bicycles, motorcycle parts, motor vehicles and their spare parts, diesel, PMS, and kerosene. In February 2024, Nigeria saw its headline inflation rate jump to 31.70%, up from 29.90% in January, an increase of 1.80% within a month. Compared to February 2023, this rate was 9.79% higher. These figures indicate increasing inflation, which impacts consumer purchasing power and economic stability. The dollar to naira exchange rate has also been skyrocketing. 10 years ago, in 2014, the dollar to naira exchange rate stood at 157 naira. By 2023, it had risen to 447 naira. Fast forward a year later, and it has surged to 1,545 naira. When the dollar to naira exchange rate rises, it typically triggers an increase in the prices of goods and services. This is due to several economic factors. Firstly, Nigeria relies heavily on imports for various goods and commodities, including essential items like fuel and machinery. When the dollar to naira exchange rate falls, it becomes more expensive to import these goods. To maintain profitability, importers often increase their prices, passing on the added cost to consumers. This is commonly observed across industries. On the other hand, When the dollar to naira exchange rate falls, the impact on prices of goods and services in Nigeria may not be as immediate or significant. One major reason this happens is the concept of price stickiness. This is when businesses are reluctant to reduce prices even when their costs decrease. It can stem from various reasons, including market competition and the desire to maintain profit margins. Additionally, businesses avoid selling stock bought at high prices for less to prevent losses. They maintain prices until they sell old stock and buy new stock at lower prices. This unpredictable rise and fall in market prices is why some Nigerians are urging the government to enforce price control. The Price Control Act 2004 is designed to regulate the pricing of certain goods known as controlled commodities. It aims to ensure fair pricing and prevent market manipulation that could lead to inflation or exploitation of consumers. Here are some of its key provisions. The Act establishes the Price Control Board, which is tasked with overseeing the implementation of price control measures. Controlled prices are determined by the board based on factors such as production costs, market demand, and fair profit margins. The Act prohibits the sale of controlled commodities above the regulated prices. Violations of this provision can result in fines or imprisonment. Hoarding of controlled commodities is strictly prohibited under the Act. Businesses that intentionally withhold goods from the market can be heavily penalized and risk losing their stock. The Act also empowers the Price Control Board to appoint enforcement staff responsible for monitoring compliance with price control regulations. These people have broad authority to enter premises, inspect records, and conduct investigations. We saw an example recently when the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission sealed 2 stores in Abuja over an alleged lack of transparency and unfair practices. However, the Price Control Act is currently not enforced. Experts say the government cannot control prices because they are not involved in the manufacturing process of goods. Some economists suggest that price controls may inevitably lead to the reintroduction of subsidies. However, the current administration has taken a bold stance on subsidy removal in different sectors. President Bola Tinubu has said that he will not establish a price control board or allow the importation of food items. Instead, his administration will rely on domestic solutions to tackle the country's food security issues. According to a World Bank report, price controls are often implemented with the best social intentions in mind. But these policies often distort markets, and their consequences for growth, poverty reduction, and government policies grow over time. The report suggests that countries can replace price controls with comprehensive social support systems alongside reforms to promote competition and establish effective regulations. Overall, Nigeria needs a sustainable strategy to address its rapid inflation and unpredictable foreign exchange rates.